Have you ever had the sudden urge to just up and quit your job with no backup plan? Or maybe an urge to just pack up all your belongings and move to a new city without telling anyone? Or maybe even an urge to just sell all your belongings and move to a new country altogether? But then you come to your senses and you realize that while it may sound like a poetic rebellion against the broken society that we live in, it would actually be a really bad idea if you did that with no idea or no plan on how you were going to sustain yourself. Admittedly, I've been there. I've been there a lot. These self-destructive urges are something I like to call the call of chaos. They're fleeting thoughts that pop into your head seemingly at random, thoughts that come with a promise of starting anew, but that have a high likelihood of being very damaging to the structure of your life if you were to actually act on them. They're very alluring, but they could cause chaos. And still, the slim chance that it could all work out calls to us, beckons us to act on impulse, to destroy our life as we know it. Why? From a neurological standpoint, our brains are constantly scanning for danger, performing risk assessments, and running what-if scenarios. Our brain will run a simulation of sorts to determine what would happen if you were to act impulsively on any of these thoughts. It's all very similar to the phenomenon known as the call of the void, which is where I got the name the call of chaos from. The call of the void, or l'appel du vide as the French originally called it, is a fleeting thought that happens when your brain tells you to do something that's borderline, yeah. For example, if you were to go on a hike and you find yourself standing next to a cliff and you think, what if I were to just jump off right now? Even though you have no intention of actually doing it, that's the call of the void. It's essentially your brain doing a self-check-in to make sure that you don't want to do that. The call of chaos is basically the same thing, but a little less extreme. From a psychological perspective, there are a number of reasons why your brain may trigger these self-destructive urges. It could be something as simple as boredom, for example, or something more significant, like going through an existential crisis or struggling to find meaning in your life. But, based on the little research that is out there even remotely relevant to this topic, it seems that the most common reason is probably repressed emotions and desires. When you have unaddressed feelings like frustration or dissatisfaction with life, or if you feel trapped in your current situation, you begin to feel boxed in, which can lead to rebellious or self-destructive thoughts. Feeling like you're stuck in a job you don't like is a great example of this. Every day feels the same. You wake up, shower, eat, go to work, come home, take care of other responsibilities, eat, sleep, and then the cycle continues. You just crave something different. But this doesn't mean you want to be impulsive or to self-destruct. You just want a break from the repetitiveness of it all. You want a break from the same dreadful experience day in and day out. You want a break from the monotony. So the question is, how can you break the monotony without breaking your life in the process? Well, breaking monotony doesn't have to be difficult. You can do this in a simple way by using what ChatGPT cleverly called calculated chaos, after I asked it for a catchy term. In essence, calculated chaos means creating minute, chaotic moments in your day-to-day living that won't actually disrupt your entire life. And these can come in many forms. Micro disruptions are exactly what they sound like. They're small controlled changes that you can make in any area of your life to just add some novelty to your days. You can try taking a different route to and from work. You can make a dish from a cuisine you've never tried before. You can even explore new genres of books or music. The point is simply to do something that's outside of your norm, to break your routine. Because even though it's not a massive change, it may be just enough to keep you from going over the edge. Creative rebellion is all about expressing your chaotic urges through some form of art. This can be through writing, drawing, dancing, making music, whatever you consider to be art. My preferred method is writing and making these videos. It allows me to vent my frustrations, and there's always something new that I can try in both my writing and my editing. Funny enough, I've actually just started reading a book that talks about this very thing. It's called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and it says something along the lines of, "You must live your most creative life as a means of fighting back against the ruthless furnace of this world." I think that sentence perfectly describes creative rebellion. Use art, use your creativity to fight back against the monotony that life tries to box you into. By the way, I'll be linking the book in the description if anybody's interested and wants to check it out. The controlled burn is an interesting one because it's the most extreme of my examples, but it also doesn't affect your life all that much. The way this one works is that you take one thing that you own, one thing that you have control over, and you completely mess it up, and then you rebuild it. This could be like deleting your favorite playlist and then creating an all new one that fits whatever vibe you're in at that moment. Or it could even be pushing all the stuff in your room to the center and completely rearranging it. Again, the point of this is to just add some novelty to your life, something that feels different. That's really the goal for all three methods. So if you try any of them, I would love for you to come back to this video and let me know how it went. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to emphasize one more thing that is super important. Having these chaotic impulses is not inherently bad. In fact, even having a bit of chaos in your life isn't necessarily bad. The whole point of this video is that you should be adding bits of chaos here and there to not drive yourself crazy with how repetitive life can be. But what could be bad is if you have these chaotic thoughts and then you act on them impulsively. You need to treat these thoughts like dreams. Dreams often reveal subconscious thoughts and feelings, but they're not accurate representations of things that should happen. For example, if you have a dream that you're falling from a rooftop, it doesn't imply that you want or desire to jump off of a building. But it does mean something. In the case of falling, it can mean that your life feels out of control, but figuring out what that deeper meaning is can help you to gain control of your life and maybe even turn you into a better person in the process. The call of chaos works pretty much the same way. A sudden urge to quit your job or move to a different city doesn't necessarily mean you should act on those things, but it can signify that you desire change in other areas of your life. Your job is to figure out what those areas are. So the next time you feel the call of chaos, try asking yourself, what's it really trying to tell you? But with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Consider watching this video next, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.